Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fulcro Connect One-on-One. This is Cortez, Commercial Marketing Manager here at Fulcro Insurance. And today I have the pleasure of sitting with Bob Morris, owner of 911 Restoration Franchise. Bob, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, Bob, tell me a little bit about your business first off. We'd love to hear what 911 Restoration does and how it operates and maybe how you became an owner.
So we are a franchise of a nationwide company. There's over 120 franchises nationwide. I've been in corporate America, primarily healthcare and sales management, my whole career, and wanted to get out of corporate America. And we investigated a lot of different businesses and industries to get into, and we came across mitigation and restoration. And we did our research, explored the various franchise opportunities out there, and ended up with 911 Restoration because of their culture and territory availability. And it provided me what I was looking for in a career opportunity, an opportunity to do my own thing, get out of corporate America, and be in a situation where we can help people when they need help.
Awesome. How long have you been an owner?
We opened the doors in October of 2019, so about 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And you and I met actually through a referral. If I
Correct.
remember correctly, it was a bank referral that connected us.
Correct.
And if I recall, you were looking for workers' compensation at the time.
That's correct.
And I remember one of the conversations saying, let me see what you're able to bring to the table, which I took your information, we went to market, and we came back. And I don't know if you recall what your response was when we presented our workers' comp policy, but I recall it being something along the lines of, what's the catch? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight was our relationship and how we become partners. So we're not your first broker. You've obviously had other brokers. Tell me about your experience with prior brokers versus your experience with Fulcro Insurance.
One of the benefits of being a franchise is you get the benefits of nationwide purchasing through national account vendor relationships. And so 911 Corporate referred me to another insurance carrier for all our insurance needs. And it was not a great experience as far as ease of working with them, responsiveness, and the long and short of it is we got to a point where there was a concern they were going to lose the carriers that we needed for the various coverages and policies that we need. So that's when I started exploring other opportunities. And our culture at our company is such that we're going to do regular price comparisons on virtually everything we do. And so that's what led us to you. And at that time, I was at a networking meeting and met the banker and reached out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that they were connected us for sure. Now, you said that responsiveness was key in your industry. Tell me about why that's important to 911 Restoration.
So we're an emergency services company. Things happen really quick in our industry. And there's times and there's periods where a customer needs a COI at the drop of a hat very quickly. And also, there's other, in the normal course of business, you come across times where there's other things you need to know about your coverage, personal property, et cetera, when we're leaving property at a customer's premise and there's a concern there. They were a small office and just didn't meet our needs from a responsiveness standpoint. When you and I first spoke, I've learned a long time ago, if a vendor or a company is very responsive and proactive and executes during the selling process, you're going to be more likely to get the same results in service as the relationship goes on. And even during getting set up with my initial carrier, it was not a seamless process.
Right. So would you felt that Fulcro's was seamless through that process, or how would you describe that onboarding with us?
Yes, that's one of the things I appreciated is I think your initial request was, okay, fill out these forms, or here's a portal you go to get us your information. And since I'd already been through this with other carriers, I said, hey, Lou, how about I send you what I've already done for all these other guys? And you accepted that, and you worked with it, and you did all the legwork for me to get through the enrollment process or the sales process.
Yep.
And as a small business, I'm always appreciative of the least amount of work I have to do, the more I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And so that was greatly valued.
So the other part of your business, since you're an emergency contractor, is certificates, specifically certificates of insurance. So tell me your experience with your prior brokers with that in regards to how Fulcro handles your certificates.
There was no consistency in the responsiveness and when I would get the COIs after I requested them. It was a small office, and I think they just had logistical challenges to get it done. I've been very pleased. It exceeded my expectations as far as COI request responsiveness. I get them the same day or early the next day, and it's never failed. So it's gone really well. The other thing that I recall during the enrollment process, the application process, was you understood our business. You understood what a restoration company does. I've gone to other carriers just through my network and research in other carriers, and a lot of them come back after I go through the whole process and say, I'm sorry, we can't cover that. Well, okay, then why did we go through the process? And it was apparent to me from the get-go that you knew and understood our industry, and that's critical.
So we were able to complete our first year, and then we entered into our first renewal together.
Yes.
And I remember the first workers' compensation renewal was interesting because in the renewal, in the company that it was in, it jumped up substantially. Part of it had to do with some of the payroll and how it was reported, but ultimately it was a different rate. And I believe what I did at that point was go back to carrier to try to negotiate for you. And in a specific conversation, I remember discussing with you, hey, I'm not always going to be your broker. There may be a moment where you leave us. What I wanted to do is share what it was that I was doing behind the scenes so that you knew moving forward how you could help your business. And that was basically moving your business from one company within the same insurance company, but moving it to another company that may have better rates. And I felt like that was one of the moments where I truly was hustling for you, if you will, and trying to make that connection. But from your perspective, I'd like to hear, you've been now through a couple renewals with us. What's your experience with the renewal process with us?
So renewal was a blessing, and also maybe not so much a blessing in that as a startup company, it's difficult to project payroll a year down the road, especially if you're new to the industry. So we were blessed in that we grew 50%. Well, you go from zero to $500,000 your first year, and then to $900,000 your second year. It's hard for me to forecast payroll for a year in advance because I'm relatively new to the industry. We have a better feel today than we did 2 years ago, but when we got at the time for the first renewal and we saw the audit results, not exciting, but I get it. I understand that our payroll forecasts were much lower, but you did what good companies do, and what has created a loyalty factor with me, and I'm deeply appreciative, is you went to work and you found a more cost-effective solution, still with an A-rated carrier, which is significant to us. Heaven forbid we ever have an event, but if we have an event, we don't want any hassles. We want effective coverage. And so we were deeply grateful that you went to work and found us a better fit.
So there's a couple things that you said that I want to touch on. One is growth. So tell me about your growth from 19 to now. How has that looked? What did it look like? And how did you achieve that growth?
Well, we give God a lot of the glory
Okay.
for our growth.
Okay.
As I mentioned previously, 911 is a franchise, and so we get national account business from companies like CBRE and Cushman Wakefield, and that's played a role in our growth, as well as learning and understanding the Google online marketing advertising programs. A big part of it, though, is through our 5-star Google reviews. We have over 100 now, and they're all 5 stars. So that brings us up higher on the list when somebody searches. And in our industry, if somebody has unwanted water or whatever, they've got an emergency, they're going to go to the internet. Phone books are from days gone by. They're going to go to the internet. And if you have a lot of 5-star Google reviews, you're going to appear higher up on the list. And so those are the primary sources of new business, in addition to my local network through my church, my friends, my family, and being in business for the last, well, we'll just say decades, many, many years, and the relationships that I've formed. We went from 0 to $500,000 our first year to 900 our second year. I'm still hesitant to forecast what we'll do in our third year because I don't know what God's plan is. These are challenging times from a staffing standpoint, but we've been able to execute.
Yeah, that's the staffing issue has been an issue that we've seen with several of our clients. And in that part of it, we kind of walk through it. I know that I walk through kind of throughout the year with you in regards to what does your staff look like? How are the fluctuations going to be? So that at audit time, you're kind of aware of what's going to happen. So that's been one of the things that we've been trying to help with all of our clients. The other thing I wanted to touch on, which is great, in my perspective, I always feel that in order for a business to be successful, right, there has to be someone that is passionate. There has to be something passionate that you bring to that business. So I kind of want to get to know you a little bit more and find out, tell me about the passion. What passion, what things that are important to you, and how do you implement them into your business?
We looked at a lot of different industries and businesses when we began this journey of getting out of corporate America and doing our own thing. What really appealed to me about this industry, it initiated from a prior personal experience. A tree fell on my house. And so we went through the restoration and mitigation process, and it was not a pleasant process. And I knew we could do better at, first off, just communicating with the customer and having people on site who can communicate with the customer. Put them at ease that their house is going to be as good, if not better, than it was before this event. We'll take care of all the insurance issues. We'll make sure everything takes place in a timely fashion. We're going to take care of your house. We're going to be professional. And that's just the culture that I grew up with. And so when you walk into a house and there's 6 inches of water on the floor in the basement and the homeowner is just distraught, it's encouraging to be able to comfort them and assure them that this is going to be taken care of. We're going to get it cleaned up. Your house is going to be put back together better, as good or better than it was. And all you have to do is just pay your deductible. And that's it. Right. And you're done. And a lot of people don't understand that. Working with insurance companies can be very complex and very difficult, especially dependent on the adjuster. A lot of adjusters want people to go get quotes and bids, and that's not the way it should work. The homeowner should pick and can pick whoever they want to do the job. So we walk them through that whole process. A lot of restoration companies do rebuilds as well, meaning when the mitigation is done, the crew comes in that puts everything back together. In our research of this industry, we determined that that's a conflict of interest. If you're paid to put things back together, you're motivated to take things out that maybe didn't need to be taken out. And our research indicated that. That just wasn't brilliant insight on my part, that we started hearing that right from the get-go.
Right.
And that's a totally different ballgame too. It's a different set of skills and expertise, and we believe in executing to your core competency. And in this case, we chose water, fire, and mold mitigation. That's our core competency. Hanging drywall is another core competency. So we believe that was a conflict of interest, so we chose not to do that. And it allows us to focus and be experts on water, fire, and mold mitigation. Integrity is important to us in our company. We practice it in everything we do. I tell my applicants when I hire them, we're going to be honest with each other no matter what. If we mess up, we say we messed up. We'll fix it. We'll learn from it. We'll go on because we're going to make mistakes. But I'll always be honest with you. You always have to be honest with me. And we are always honest with a customer. We're on time. When we tell a customer we're going to be there at 9 a.m., we're there at 9 a.m. I bonus my employees on on-time performance because our customers' time is more important and more valuable than our time.
It's interesting you say that. We had another podcast where the owner also used that type of incentive to not only generate business, but also to cultivate an environment and a culture where customer service came first. It's also great to hear about honesty and integrity because here at Fulcro, one of our main points of emphasis in any time we deal with a client, new or existing, is we always do the best for the client's favor, not our favor. So if it means that we are moving them to a carrier that perhaps would pay us less versus one that would pay us more, but it would be in the best interest of the client, that is absolutely what we do. And we pride ourselves on that and always making sure that the client comes first.
But my mentor in my life told me a long time ago, take care of the customer and the money will just fall into place.
Yeah.
And it works. Yeah. If you do the right job and take care of the customer, the money will come. It'll happen.
And what's funny that you say that, we'll probably start wrapping up with this point. You've also been a big proponent of us becoming a vendor for your national franchise. And we wanted to thank you for giving us that endorsement because your name carries weight in your franchise. So that's great.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm loyal to the companies who have performed and executed for our company and helped us grow and helped us succeed in our goal, achieving our goals and objectives. So I look forward to continuing to grow our relationship and hopefully get you some more business at 911.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Bob. We appreciate you as a client and as a person as well. Thank you for joining us on Fulcro Connect, one-on-one. Stay tuned for the next episode.